Hello and welcome to Bible Studies with me, your man in the shed, Andy P. And this is not going to be your vicar down your local church preaching to you like a priest, because that's what they do. This is your alternative view of Genesis. We're going to start with Genesis chapter 1. So we've got, it's going to take a little while. There are 31 lines of Genesis. Before we get started with the Bible, though, a little bit of housekeeping here. The Bible is a great text. Not going to argue with that. It is been around now for getting on 6,500 years, and many people have enjoyed reading it. It's got to be the greatest selling book of all time throughout the world ever. I wouldn't have minded being the publisher of the first one and keeping a little bit of the royalties there. It could be quite a rich, not that it would have made much difference to me, but my ancestors 6,000 years ago, that'd have been pretty decent. We are going to put in some stuff that will go against creationism and will go against some people's beliefs. Not trying to offend you. If it does offend you, then send me a message. Let me know. We are having a little bit of fun here with the Bible, but we are also putting in some content, which I think is fair enough. Especially when you look at the earlier part of the Old Testament, it's pretty horrific and violent. There's not too much violence in this first part, though, because this is the opening chapter. Let's begin. So, Chapter 1. Line 1. In the beginning, when God created the heavens and the earth. Has to be the most famous line of any book, any time. Apart from maybe a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. It's quite similar, really, isn't it? Anyway, the Big Bang created the universe. Are you saying that everything astrophysicist says is wrong? Probably. The earth was a formless void, and darkness covered the face of the deep, while the wind from God swept over the face of the waters. Not quite sure really why there would be waters, but there you go. Then God said, let there be light, and there was light. So the sun is a third generation star, and it was formed 4.8 billion years ago, and it was created by gravity causing nuclear fusion. The sun is not a light, nor is it a burning fire, because it's in a vacuum in space, and fire doesn't work in space. Then God's, oh no, I've already done that bit. And God saw that the light was good, and God separated the light from the darkness. I agree that the light is good, as it is the warmth. I understand why ancient civilizations would believe the sun was a god. Also, can sort of understand what they mean when they said he would separate the light from the dark. Now, this is a way that they're actually screwing with flat earthers online for, because what it means is, as we go around the globe, half the world is in light, half the world is in dark. We will do some experiments, people, with basic household objects, which will show how this works. But this is a good one, and this one is almost already saying the earth is globe. Anyway, without them even knowing it. And if you can take your plain bullshit from this bullshit, I can take that one. There you go. So God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day. If God said it, then it must be true. There you go. No arguments from me then. And God said, let there be a dome in the midst of the water, and let it separate the waters from the waters. Yeah, that name really doesn't make a lot of sense. So God made a dome, and he separated the waters that were under the dome from the waters that were above the dome, and it was so. It's an odd way of saying sea and sky, but yeah, okay. God called this dome sky, and there was evening, and there was morning, the second day. Is this where flat earth nonsense gets their dome from? Well, yes, it certainly is. They wouldn't call it a dome if it wasn't written down somewhere. And if it's in the Bible, then it must be true. And God said, let the waters under the sky be gathered together in one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. Water kind of gathers together. However, these writers didn't know this at the time, so I'm not going to be too tough on them. What they're doing basically is observing what they see. God called the dry land earth, and the waters that were gathered together he called seas. And God saw it was good. Again, the same, what they see. Then God said, let the earth put forth vegetation, plants yielding seeds, and fruit trees of every kind on earth that bear fruit with seeds in. And it was so. Just because they were there doesn't mean it didn't take the best part of 4 billion years of evolution through natural selection for this to have happened. But there you go. Again, they're saying what they see. The earth brought forth vegetation, plants yielding seeds of every kind, the trees of every kind bearing fruits with seeds in it. And God saw that it was good. Again, thanks, but it was again due to evolution. There are fossils that prove this. The coals that man used to power the industrial evolution is fossilized plants. And there was evening and there was morning the third day. The sun rotated once more on its axis. Once again, proof that we're not on a flat earth. Okay, line 14 I have actually highlighted because this is the line, the only line I've found so far that tells us a little bit about seasons. And all I'm saying is, there's not enough about it. And God said, let there be light in the dome of the sky to separate the day from the night, and let them be for signs for the seasons and for the days and years. Not really sure how this sentence makes any sense. The seasons aren't explained at all until now, yet one line explains the Earth's circle around our primary star. Yeah, this is the bit what gets me for creationism, is that they use this as a scientific text. Which part of that line there was scientific? Not a bit. And let them be lights in the dome of the sky to give lights upon the earth. And it was so. It's not really what you'd call scientific, but there you go. Then another one which is scientific. This is another bit which they use as science, okay? And this is again totally wrong, so I've highlighted it again. God made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night, and the stars. So again, the sun is approximately 4.8 billion years old, and it will have used up its hydrogen in around 10 to 12 billion years. It's not like a light in your basement which has a switch. The moon has no light. It is lit by the sun and it glows white. The light which is what we see here on Earth. All the stars are suns from off of other solar systems. There is light. That light is less due to the distance that they are from us. And you can do experiments with lights in your own home if you want, but we're not going to do it here at the moment. Anyway, so the next line is, God set them in a dome of the sky to give light upon the earth. This dome is now known as the Earth's atmosphere. It maintains the gases that all living things require to live. It creates the greenhouse that keeps it in the heat, also protects us from the solar winds. To rule over the day and over the night, and to separate the lights from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. Some of the lights at the night come from stars that now have been proven to take hundreds or thousands or even millions of light years to arrive to us to see. However, they weren't going to know that 6,000 years ago. So we're going to give them a little bit of leeway there. And there was evening and there was morning, the 4th day. No understanding yet of how our solar system works. Also, the bits I've highlighted isn't a criticism of these people who wrote the Bible, okay? This is a criticism of people nowadays, even though there is scientific evidence and scientific proof that this is wrong, they won't accept that. That's who I'm criticizing, not the people who wrote the Bible. And God said, let the waters bring forth swarms of living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the dome of the sky. And again, they're literally just saying what they see, no understanding of evolution by natural selection at this moment in time. They didn't know it, so it's not a problem for me, even though it's clearly wrong. So God created the great sea monsters and every living creature that moves, every kind, with which the waters swarm, and every winged bird of every kind. And God saw that it was good. It's exactly the same as the last line. They didn't know what they knew. Today, they wouldn't have written. If the Bible was written today, there'd be a few criticisms, I'm sure, in the press. God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters and the seas, and let the birds multiply on the earth. It's very quick and very few lines of what is considered creationism. And there was evening and there was morning, the fifth day. Without modern technology that we enjoy today, we would have made working throughout the night very difficult. Yeah, imagine darkness, especially in the winter. And God said, let the earth bring forth living creatures of every kind, cattle and creeping things, and wild animals of the earth of every kind. And it was so. So again, basically they're saying what they need. So the cattle bit being making sure we've got some livestock so we can eat it, we can use it for its milk, or birds for eggs, chickens for eggs, things like that. So they made sure that they had what they needed there. But there's never a definition of the word kind. And then God said, let us make humankind in our image according to our likeness, and let them have domination over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the wild animals of the earth, and over every creeping thing that crept upon the earth. Did the men who wrote the Bible not have parents? Or what? Maybe they were the first humans. Oh my God, maybe we've actually just discovered real creationism. Maybe the creationists are real. All right, it's unlikely, but there you go. So God created humankind in his image, and the image of God, he created them, male and female. He created them. So God is mankind, allegedly. Of course he is, 100%. Guarantee he's not a woman. This will show later in the book of Genesis why God is definitely man, not woman. God blessed them. God said to them, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth and subdue it, and have domination over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves upon the earth. Mankind wrote it here, so to have domination over all creatures of the earth, so man can rule over them. That's good for man. Yeah, well done there, man. God said, see, I have given you every plant yielding seeds that is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree with seed in its fruit, you shall have them for food. Gee, thanks, mate. Again, evolution happened. Fun fact about evolution: fungi. There we go. This is one which isn't in the Bible for you. Fungi is actually, through evolution and DNA, proven to be closer linked to animals than it is green-leaved plants that use what's it called? I can't think. We'll come back to that. But yeah, green-leafed plants. Fungi are closer. Where have I found that? Yeah, so things that use photosynthesis is the word I'm looking for. Things that use photosynthesis, things like trees, grass. Fungi is closer to animals because fungi hunt. It goes out of its way to find things that are rotting and it can eat. And the next line then, and to every beast on the earth, and to every bird of the air, and to everything that creeps on the earth, everything that has the breath of life. I have given every green plant for food. And it was so. Once again, there was a worldview. Totally get it. It's what they saw. You know, things eat grass. So God gave them the grass to eat. God saw everything that he had made, and indeed it was very good. And there was evening and there was morning, the sixth day. So this is chapter 1. This is the one creationist main text that proves creationism is true, because the dusty old book said so. Well, if it's written down, then it must be true. Just like everyone who makes videos on YouTube or writes tweets on Twitter and Facebook facts. Other social media is available for you and your Karens. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, and do join me next time for Genesis chapter 2, where we will discover how God rested one of the 7 days, the creation of Eden, naming all the beasts, and the rib that created Eve off of Adam and Eve. So if you don't want, if that does, so if that doesn't want you to subscribe, well, there you are. Anyway, thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe, and see you, pals. And that was chapter 1 of Genesis. See you, pals.